All right. We all know that the smartphone actually is a computer. Your smartphone is a computer that has a function as a phone. In fact, it has an app that is the phone app, and it has the phone functionality. But strictly speaking, it is a computer. But is it a single device? Is it one single device, or are they several devices within that within that device? How many devices does my smartphone contain? Well, it turns out it contains four computers that that live each one lives its own life inside this device. The four computers all live their own lives inside that device. It's just incredible, right? Let's see what these computers are. Let's see what these four computers are. This is just insane, right? So the main computer, it's clear. It's the computer, like the main chip with the RAM, the chip, the storage where everything is installed, and like where Android or iOS is installed on the smartphone. But there's three more computers. Crazy, right? Like the cellular baseband processor. Have you heard of it? Its main manufacturer is Qualcomm. I missed one M because I didn't have space for this. The other one is the Wi-Fi Bluetooth module, which is manufactured primarily by Broadcom, which is its own computer. And the SIM card itself, which is um, which has its own OS, which is SimpOS. All right. But what do I mean by computer? Like, how come you call that a computer? Why do you have the reason for calling this a computer? Well, there is a good reason for calling these parts a computer. Let's see what the term SoC bedoid, means. It means system on a chip. System on a chip. All right. A microchip that combines several core functions on one chip, enough to form a system. This is the crucial part. Enough to form a system, which means a separate part that can be individual. All right, individual computer. The first one that we mentioned was the cellular baseband modem or processor. It's a secret uh, second, basically not second, but actually a fourth operating system that could make every mobile phone insecure. All right. The problem is this OS is proprietary. The OS is closed source. It has bugs. And it has the problem is this operating system has low level access to your data. Um, since it's proprietary, there is very little public information. Um, so we don't know how this OS functions. We don't know how it's built. It's secret basically, and it's assumed that it is often outdated and has insecure legacy functionality. The code base um, implements old standards. So there's a lot of problems with this cellular baseband chip. Like I said, this is a computer. This is a separate system that lives a separate life from everybody else. The other one is surprisingly the SIM card, which is crazy, right? It contains a processor, contains an OS. The OS is called SimpOS, like I said. It has a CPU, it has RAM, very tiny memory. Like you can imagine, it's a very small piece of hardware, but it is a computer. Crazy enough, right? Uh, it is erasable, programmable, and has read-only memory. So it connects to apps using Java code, and the main purpose is to authenticate the mobile device with a network. But it's a separate chip, a separate computer. The SIM card is a separate computer, technically speaking. And the last one is the Wi-Fi chip. Uh, I just made a screenshot from the Broadcom webpage. This is the Wi-Fi 6E Bluetooth combo chipset, whatever. So this is another example of SoC, um, basically a computer that has its own RAM, has its own storage, has its own operating system, and live its own life within your phone. And these components are all vulnerable for hacking. They have like their separate OS, which nobody knows how secure it is. So if it was only the smartphone's main operating system, you would say, okay, it must be tested, and but there are so many components that are individually uh, programmed, so the risk is a lot higher of being hacked through these chips, through these separate computers. That's it from my side. See you soon.